So Apple actually ended up removing probably the best iPhone I've ever owned in my life, right next to the iPhone 11 Pro, which I also have right here, and that is the iPhone 13 Pro. This specific iPhone has now been completely discontinued from Apple. They can, I think, still sell it in their certified refurbished market, but with the iPhone 14s coming out with the 14 Pro, this is a obsolete, not obsolete, this is a iPhone that is pretty much gone, and it's super sad because this is honestly one of my favorite iPhones I've ever owned. Now, with how the iPhone 14 Pros are looking like, it's probably a really good upgrade. I cannot wait to get that phone in my hands to test it out thoroughly. But for the last year or so, this has been, like I said, probably one of the best iPhones I've ever owned. Starting with the display, I mean, this display in and of itself was amazing. The 6.1-inch ProMotion display was awesome, and I was so happy with the way Apple approached the screen. I mean, this was honestly, even though the dynamic island display now is like, what it is, this was a really big upgrade coming from the iPhone 12 Pro, which funny enough, I also have right here. And I was not that big of a fan of the iPhone 12 Pro, to be honest. I was kind of happy when it got discontinued and replaced with the iPhone 13 Pro. And if Apple ends up going through and making the 14 Pro this much better, which in turn it's looking like it might be, this could probably be one of those years where two iPhones back to back are massive upgrades. The 13 Pro is a pretty big upgrade, and the 14 Pro is also going to be a pretty good upgrade as long as they don't mess it up and ruin the battery life or anything. But then we also had the camera setup. Now the camera setup on this iPhone was amazing. This iPhone had one of the best cameras I've ever owned, and for it being as small of a form factor as it is, I mean this is a tremendous build quality. It's a tremendous camera setup. So I was really happy about that too. And also the battery life. I mean, the battery life of my iPhone 13 Pro has been exponentially amazing. I've had tremendous, battery life in general. I could use this phone on days and days on end. And there are times I even forget to charge my phone. Like I'm sitting right next to the charger and I just forget to plug it in. And I don't have to worry about this phone dying or anything like that. Now, to be fair, my 12 Pro, I kind of didn't really feel like I had, this thing was dying on me all the time too. But the battery health did degrade quite a bit, and I was not a fan of that at all. And honestly, coming from my iPhone 11 Pro, which I still own all these phones, this was probably the first iPhone where I looked at it after my iPhone 10, and I was like, wow, this is a perfect iPhone. And since then, Apple kind of dropped it with the 12 Pro. They increased it like crazy with the 13 Pro. And all I'm hoping is that with the 14 Pro, that is a awesome iPhone. It's looking like it's going to be. And like I said, I can't remember the last time Apple, in 2 years side by side, their main flagships were massive upgrades from one another. Maybe the closest thing I can think of is like the 10s Max, but I also didn't think the 10s Max was that big of a, that great of a phone. But I think the 13 Pro is just amazing, and I'm so happy they ended up making this specific device. I will tell you, if you're planning on buying an iPhone 14, just buy the 13 Pro. This is much better, but I'd recommend going for the 14 Pro if you have the money. So that pretty much covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video.